The dancing grandpa, who is known famous by his unintentional dancing acts in the ward, has finally been discharged. In celebration of慈济 New York chapter's 30th birthday, a charity art auction is held to raise love from the community. 歡迎收睇大日 headlines， 我係 Ruby 吳，我哋一齊嚟睇下今日嘅內容。At the Taipei Tzu Hospital, a scene of a COVID-19 patient dancing in the ward was broadcast and touched many people. The media called him Dancing Grandpa. He is 59 years old and suffered severe symptoms at first. Fortunately, he slowly recovered and was finally discharged from 1 month. Following the beat, this elder was moving his body happily and even holding a respirator as a microphone. Do you still remember the dancing grandpa at Taipei Tzu Hospital? Now he is finally discharged from the hospital.
I didn't intentionally dance like that. If you ask me to dance again, I can't do it anymore.
From suffering severe symptoms to becoming COVID negative, after 36 difficult days, dancing grandpa Lin Yongming, who was sitting in a wheelchair and wearing oxygen tubes, could finally come out of the ward. The unintentional act was unexpectedly popular, and even he himself was surprised.
At that time, my wife saw it and so did my colleague. He sent me a line message asking me if I knew my dance was broadcast. I didn't know anything about it.
This is an apple, wishing you peace and safety. It is a blessing from every one of us.
Knowing that Lin Yongming would be discharged from the hospital on that day, the hospital secretly gave him a gift, which made him surprised and happy. Yet the first thing he wanted to do after being discharged was to return to work as soon as possible.
I can finally go to work.
Recalling the process at the hospital, he felt so depressed that he wanted to ask his friend to make funeral arrangements for him.
I told my colleague I may have to be intubated, but I still have something that hasn't been finished yet. Would you please do something for me?
Nurse Liu Yisou also came to say goodbye to him. Even though everyone in the ward was wiped out, Lin Yongming could recognize Liu Yisou at a glance. After spending a long time together in the ward, the two almost became good friends.
He would play some famous songs that I haven't heard before. I asked if he knew the song called 105 Degrees. Many people were talking about it. He really went on the internet to search for it. He asked if it was sung by Ko Wen-je.
When he was ill, he has nothing to do, so he danced to spend time. But he didn't expect it would bring positive energy to society. With this experience, he not only has to resume normal life, but also vowed to be a volunteer in the hospital when he is free, giving back to society. A COVID cluster infection broke out in Kota Kinabalu, Malaysia. All prison staff were forced to stay within the prison, yet they could only sleep on the ground. Upon receiving the news, the volunteers immediately sent Jingsi folding beds for prison guards to use. The volunteers and members of the Civil Defense Forces carried 450 light Jingsi folding beds one by one onto the truck, preparing to send them to Penjara Kipanyan prison.
It just happened on the 28th. The entire prison was sealed off because there are a lot of confirmed COVID cases. All the staff are not allowed to go out or go home, so they have to stay in the prison, but they have no place to sleep.
Our purpose to borrow the bed this time is to ensure that the prison staff who are being quarantined have a more comfortable place to rest.
During the quarantine, prison officials can only sleep on the ground. Upon receiving the news, apart from lining Jingsi folding beds, Tzu also provided mattresses.
We step around here in the playground, in the car, in the auditorium, or in the office. After we have these tents, Jingsi folding beds, and mattresses, we can rest in one place more orderly and comfortably.
The Jingsi multifunction folding bed does not waste any space. It is helped to improve the sleep quality of prison staff and allow them to pass the quarantine period with peace of mind. Today, we take you to the celebration scene of Tzu New York chapter's 30th anniversary. which means 30 years of service for the people of New York and beyond. Many gathered to send their blessings for this occasion, such as volunteers and business partners who have always been there. Let's take a look at this celebratory event.
I am standing at the Tzu chapter in New York. On this day, the 3rd of July, is the celebration of Tzu New York's 30th anniversary. As you can see, it's raining a little, but nearly 100 volunteers are already here, preparing to welcome everyone. Behind me is the reception area where it is currently receiving volunteers, and later it will receive guests to the event. Over there, many delicious vegetarian snacks have been prepared for the participants. Speaking of, let's see what the kitchen volunteers are up to. You can see right now there are kitchen volunteers who are busy preparing vegetarian sushi for the guests to enjoy. Next, we head to the Jingsi Books and Cafe and the first floor hallway. To celebrate this 30th anniversary event, everyone can see the first floor hallway and the Jingsi bookstore has been decorated. The bookstore is looking very refreshed as they have been preparing for a week. Let's take a look at their dedicated hard work from the week before. The floor, the bathroom, stairs, and even door cracks, anything that might gather dust, is wiped down. The week before the celebration began, there were nearly 10 volunteers or Tzu staff here to clean and decorate.
From top to bottom, inside to out, we have cleaned it all, including the glass and floors. So grateful to the volunteers of the greater New York area for coming in to clean, using the soap the students made in the workshops. Those soaps work great to get rid of stains. They were afraid that the floors won't dry in time, so they would dry mop the floor just in case.
Due to a sudden rainstorm, the volunteers put up a tent to prepare for any weather changes. The parking lot has been changed to the registration station as well as the food area. When entering the kitchen, we see that volunteers have been preparing lunch since 6 in the morning. Also, the front door is decorated with a banner and balloons to add to the festivity. The receptionist team is made up of volunteers from New York, Long Island, Manhattan, and Brooklyn. They greet everyone with care. This event's undertaking was done by 111 volunteers and 169 volunteers' participation, including those from Boston, Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Pennsylvania. It's one of the biggest events Tzu New York has held since the pandemic happened. The ribbon-cutting ceremony was scheduled for 10:13 in the morning to represent 1013, the motto which translates to one person, one charitable act, as it is hoped that everyone joins in to do something good for this world. Over 300 guests arrived to celebrate, including renowned forensic scientist Henry Lee and the Director General of Taipei Economics Cultural Office in New York, James Lee. As the ceremony got underway, it started to rain, but everyone stayed to witness the completion of the ceremony.
De Tzu Chi, feliz aniversario en sus 30 años.
Happy 30th anniversary, Tzu Chi, New York.
Tzu Chi, happy 30th anniversary.
Happy 30th anniversary.
恭喜慈济，
慈济纽约30周年，
生日快乐。
The well-wishes come from all walks of life and all different organizations. They have all been with Tzu Chi in these past 30 years, hoping to bring about compassion in the world. On July 3rd at 10:13, 51 guests came together to celebrate Tzu Chi's 30th anniversary.
身处美国第一大城的纽约慈济人，自30年前只身老菩萨们筚路蓝缕中起步，一步一脚，深深烙下菩萨足迹，立下无数典范感人故事。
Despite it starting to rain when the ceremony started, the nearly 300 special guests and volunteers did not leave as they finished listening to the letter. Among the guests were Ambassador of Taiwan and Henry Lee and his wife. who came all the way from Connecticut. Henry Lee is one of the world's foremost forensic scientists and has a deep respect for the master's ability to motivate so many people across the globe.
Thank you, Tzu Chi, for this opportunity for everyone to gather. We can all contribute our share of knowledge and wealth. And just like the Master says, one person has limited strength, but many have unlimited strength.
The theme of this 30th anniversary is very clear. It's about love. Many of the guest speeches were about love, including the choir. They also sang about love. This ceremony is the embodiment of Tzu Chi's love, always thinking about others and their needs. That's how love is best expressed in Tzu Chi.
Those religious organizations who have worked with Tzu Chi in the past also spoke with fondness of Tzu Chi's doings.
You're doing God's work because you're all over the world, helping people wherever there's a disparate situation. Tzu Chi is there. And we're grateful to Tzu Chi for doing God's work.
Just like the main theme of the celebration of 30 years, the challenges of different decades, this event marks the beginning of the next milestone for Tzu Chi here in New York. Another feature of this event is the artwork charity auction. These different artworks are from a personal collection, and the family's wish is to donate these to Tzu Chi for auction. There are more than 2,000 pieces here. The Tzu Chi New York chapter also made up an electronic catalog for an online auction. All the proceeds will be donated to Tzu Chi in the category of charity, medical, and education, especially at the Da'ai Kindergarten, which will start later this year.
In the celebratory events just mentioned, a charity art auction was held with more than 2,000 pieces of artwork being sold. The participating guests, who have been cooperating with Tzu Chi for many years, responded enthusiastically, hoping to seize this opportunity to do good deeds.
With love, you can help. With love, you can bring in people to help. With love, you can do so much.
At the scene of Tzu Chi New York 30th anniversary charity art auction, love is continuing, love is flowing.
These items are more than 10 years old, and we just recently put them up for repricing.
More than 2,000 pieces of art were donated by their children to the Tzu Chi New York after the death of the Chen Bingren and Mrs. Wang Shuhui, hoping to help more people.
I think the original owner would be happy for bringing them here. It is a kind of love transmission and also allows him to participate in this event.
Tzu Chi and Kaipa have cooperated for many years. I hope to take this opportunity to contribute a little bit of money, and at the same time I can buy art that I like. This is a very good thing.
After reordering the prices, these artworks can be found by the destined collectors through the Tzu Chi New York 30th anniversary charity art auction. When the Tzu Chi volunteer Teresa recalled the preparation process over the past 6 months, she didn't stop bursting into tears.
At the beginning, it was a kind of worried and anxiety because I worried if the artworks could be sold out. Not to mention selling thousands of pieces. Even 100 pieces are hard to sell. Especially this kind of artwork is not a necessity. When we received the first order, the second, the third, and the fourth, then we were more confident. I realized that when you put your heart and soul into everything, there will be a little bit of reward. Among the 2,000 pieces of artwork, most of them were donated by Mr. Charles Chen and were collected by his parents, who were very supportive of Tzu Chi when they were alive. By donating his parents' collection, Mr. Chen hoped to let the great love continue to circulate in the world.
I grew up in New York. My mother joined the Tzu Chi organization. She started off with mostly the singing group. Over time, she started getting a lot more involved in the charity events.
Once for the 9/21 earthquake, the choir held a concert in the town hall. Nearly $90,000 in donation was raised. So we accomplished our mission. Their family is very caring. It's a very nice family.
My father started collecting pieces of art in the 1980s. There are many, many pieces. Smaller sculptures, some paintings, carvings.
Chen Bingren passed away very quickly due to the myocardial infarction. His family members were not prepared. He passed away in less than an hour. So our Tzu Chi brothers and sisters went to his house to care for his wife and stay with her. About 2 years after Chen Bingren passed away, his wife Wang Shuhui passed away.
Tzu Chi means a lot to us. We know its people, we know its mission. It's something that we admire very much. My mother had expressed interest in donating this collection to Tzu Chi. Myself and my brother feel very strongly about transferring this kind of love to the Tzu Chi organization. It goes from a place where it doesn't do anything to another place where I think it can do a lot of good.
I have a chance to come here to see a lot of nice pieces. They want to make action. Tzu Chi take care, help more people.
The kids in their family think that if they donate their father's collections, it will collect mirror to him. That's also a kind of filial piety. Of course, if they sell it at Sotheby's, they will just get some money back. But because they have love in their mind, it's very good to make such a decision. We all admire it.
Some pieces have maybe 1,000 years. You not see that kind of pieces every day. You can feel something from that time. All the jade, you can see the whole inside collecting together. How they made like that? All hands work. I don't know how many hours or how many years make the whole belt. How they made, how quiet, how peaceful, how feeling, how love the job.
My father spent a lot of time, effort, and love collecting these art pieces. When people purchase them, I hope they keep this in mind.
The love story continue, keep going. Share to friends, share to family, share for forever.
These caring people, if they buy these artworks, they will not only have them, but also give love back. Their donations also can help many people.
What really should bring them joy is that the money goes to a great cause. The money goes to doing a lot of good things. I think that's what people should focus on.
During the pandemic, many people gained weight as they do less exercise when staying at home. Many weight loss diets have been popular, such as a low-carbon diet, ketogenic diet, or the recently popular 168 diet. Yet they may not be suitable for everyone, and some may even have serious consequences. Let's hear what the doctors have to say.
In the evening, the night market starts to become busy. Xiaoxin is the owner of a night market food stall. The pandemic has brought a change to her lifestyle. Just like many people, how to maintain a good figure is something she now worries about. In order to lose weight, she also tried a low-carb diet and a raw keto diet.
It's very effective in losing weight. I lost 4 kilograms at the beginning. I lost 4 kilograms in a week.
The keto diet, based on consuming a lot of fat, has a low-carb diet, and the recently popular 168 diet only allows one to eat within 8 hours a day. This is yet another popular way to lose weight in the past few years, but it's not always applicable to individuals.
之前就已经习惯用像是低碳或是生酮饮食的朋友们其实
Those who are accustomed to a low-carb or ketogenic diets actually have to increase the plant-based part of their diets. You should also choose better fats and rely less upon animal fats as part of your intake.
动物性的油脂其实还是尽量去降低它的摄取比较好的。
Ketosis has a significant effect on weight loss, and Xiaoxing ate this diet for a whole year, but a car accident caused a spine fracture. And only then did she discover that eating a keto diet caused her severe osteoporosis.
It is best to lose weight by exercising. To be honest, my own feelings are because you must supplement your nutrition when you eat keto. Meat, vegetables, and all alone are not enough to support your body. Otherwise, how can I get a compression fracture of the spine?
很好，待会呢来下夹背抖音。
During the pandemic, it is inconvenient for people to go to sports centers or outdoors to exercise. In order to allow people to maintain a good exercise habits, many sports centers have opened online courses in response to the pandemic.
Now all work and life is at home as the scope of life becomes very small. If we maintain the same posture for a long time, it will cause stiffness. Another factor is that the amount of activity has decreased, so the things we eat are more likely to accumulate in the body.
In order to encourage people to be active, in addition to teaching lively online classes, many courses are also provided for free.
Studies have pointed out that the mobility of our muscle cells can promote immunity and promote the secretion of immune cytokines by our cells, allowing our white blood cells to fight the virus faster. The second one is high body temperature. People with higher body temperature have better immunity than people with lower body temperature. Once body temperature drops, immunity drops by 30%. In addition, exercise also has the benefit of relaxing mood. Exercise will make the brain produces endorphins.
Recent studies have found that in addition to maintaining good exercise habits, a plant-based diet is also a good way to enhance immunity.
In June of this year, there has been a recent study. It is a retrospective study of subjects in 6 foreign countries. It was found that if you eat more of a plant-based, one can reduce the risk of COVID-19 by as much as 60 to 70%.
This study is a discovery of Johns Hopkins University in the United States. People on a plant-based diet are less likely to be infected with COVID-related severe illness than those on a low-carb, high-protein diet.
So a plant-based diet has a very important natural phytochemical pigments to resist an attack from the outside. For example, there are a lot of anthocyanins in purple food, which also helps our body's antioxidants function.
Studies have found that a large amount of unprocessed foods in a plant-based diet may be helpful for health and epidemic prevention.
In a plant-based diet, we start with one of the most intuitive ways to do it with principle of rainbow diet and a variety of different colors of food each day. The phytochemicals in the diet can protect our health.
During the pandemic, everyone's habits have changed, but maintaining physical and mental health and good eating habits will eventually help us all make it through these difficult times.
In Malaysia, students from Kita kindergarten and after-school classes experience the hard work of medical staff through a simulations lesson. We'll leave you with these images. Goodbye.